Right, so welcome back to the 5-a-day series. We're going to do the next 5 questions for the day. The first question is a circles theorem question. We have to figure out 3 of the angles. The easiest one would be the angle Z, because we know 63 add 65 and Z should be equal to 180 because we're talking about a straight line. So that would be 128 add Z would be equal to 180, so that's Z should be equal to 52 degrees. So that's the angle 52. The next one would be, we're going to use the alternate segment theorem. So the alternate segment theorem, this is how I think about it. If you look at this angle here, which is 65.
Did you see Mehmet?
No?
Oh, Mehmet came. Yeah, she went to the... Miss, did you call me? Sorry, I missed your call. Are you in the lesson?
No. So we've got 65 here.
About what?
And 65.
No, he is lying. He is lying.
So,
I didn't call him unless he wants to speak to me. I didn't ask him to come and see me. Did he say that I asked him to...
yeah, so we've got 65, and sorry about that, guys. So 65 is making the segment. So the segment that is connected to 65 is this one. Look at the angle that is opposite to that. That is the alternate segment theorem. So 65 is the angle here, it's connected to the segment. This one, look at the angle that is opposite to that. That is your alternate segment theorem. So that is 65. Remember circle theorem if you need to write the reason. So that is alternate segment theorem. Even on the other one, the angle 63, it is connected to the segment here. So the one that is opposite to that would be 63. So we know y is equal to 63. The next one is a graph question. We need to draw the graphs for x is equal to 0, y is equal to 2x plus 3, and y is equal to x minus 1. X is equal to 0 is the easiest because we know x is equal to 0 is your y-axis. So that is x is equal to 0. For any graph, there are multiple ways of doing this. The most easiest, or the one which you are less likely to make a mistake, is the table method. So plug in 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, which are the easiest numbers that you can do. Plug them into your equation. So if I plug in x equals 0, I would get 3. X equals 1, I would get 5. X equals 2, I would get 7. So now I have a pair of coordinates. All I have to do is just, plot them. So x equals 0, y equals 3. Let's use a different color. That would be here. X equals 1, y equals 5. Oh, that's somewhere up there. And x equals 2, y equals 7. That's somewhere. So because the points are slightly out of reach, let's use -1. So if I use... Orasa. So if I use -1, this would be -1. This would be -2 plus 3, which is +1. So that should be a good point to help me. So if your graph is jumping out of proportion, so we're going to use that. And then now that you have 2 points, you can grab your ruler, and then you've got a straight line there. So let's grab our ruler, and then we have a straight line which passes through that. Minus slightly off. Should have been going exactly through those points. Still wrong. Okay. Anyways, but I hope you get the idea. Wait, did I make a mistake? If I plug in... No, that's not supposed to be there, is there? No. Made a mistake somewhere. Yeah, it's -1, 1, isn't it? Yeah, -1, 1. That's down there. Yep. That's our graph. So yeah, that's our graph. Make sure you do this with a ruler. And then we could do the same thing for y and x equals -1. So if I do 0, 1, 2, when x is 0, y is -1, x is 1, y is 0, and then 2, that would be 1. So, sorry, I kind of messed up the x and the y. Should be x here and y there. So if x is like this, so when x is 0, y is -1, so that should be here. X is 1, y is 0, so that should be there. And then x is 2, y is +1, that should be there. So if we draw the line using a ruler, that should be the 3 lines there. Now, for the next question, we've got to sketch the inequalities, which are x is greater than 0, y is less than or equal to 2x plus 3, and y is greater than or equal to x minus 1. Now, if these were strict inequalities without the equal sign, I would have used a dotted line and not the solid line. So if your question has a solid line, use or draw a solid line. If your question doesn't have the solid line or the inequality sign or the equal sign, you can use a dotted line there. Now, the rule that I usually tend to do is, so we need to have x is greater than 0, which would mean we are going to the right. So put a tiny little arrow there to help you remember you're going to the right. Then y is less than 2x plus 3. So 2x plus 3 was the first graph. So this is the line y. Now, it's a good practice to mark your equation so that you don't get confused which is which. So this is 2x plus 3. Think of the y as the height. So you want those points whose heights are under the 2x plus 3, or the height of the points should be below that of the line, which means we are going below, or we need to shade under the purple line. And for the green one, and for the third one, the height is greater, which means you need to shade, or you're looking for points who are above that. So ideally, we would like the points that are above the green, towards the right of the red, and under the purple. That means we would be shading or using all of this. So this would be our region R. And that is our question number 3. Question number 4 says, R invests £800 in a bank for 5 years. So we've got the time there for 5 years. But what we do not know is, we do not know the rate. So it is at y%, and we know it is a compound interest. Now, in your exam, you would be given the formula for the compound interest in the formula booklet, which is A equals P times 1 plus R over 100 to the power of n, where A is the amount, P is what we call as the principal or your initial investment, R is your rate, and n is the number of years that we are investing this for. The question says, at the end of 5 years, so at the end of 5 years, the person receives £887.60. We want to work out the rate. So the rate is what we need to work out. So find the rate. So all we have to do is pretty easy, plug in. So the amount we know is 887.60, is equal to the amount that I invested was 800. 1 plus r over 100. R over 100 means we are saying that is r percent to the power of 5. So first thing that we would do is we're going to have to do the division on both sides. It's not a subtraction. So divide by 800, divide by 800. So we would be getting 887.60 over 800 is equal to 1 plus r percent to the power of 5. Now, we're going to kill two birds with one stone. So do not do the division yet. What you're going to do now is, because I'm going to get rid of that power 5, to do or to undo the power of 5, we're going to take the fifth root on both sides. And that means we're going to plug in fifth root of 887.60 over 800 is equal to 1 plus r percent. So let's plug that into our calculator. So do I have a nth root? Yeah, I do have nth root. So we're going to get the fifth root of, and then inside that, let's bring in the fraction, 887.60, divide that with 800. So we get 1.0209. So let's write that 1.0209. I'll tell you why we are using, let's use one more 9. This is equal to 1 plus r percent. Now we are looking at what is r percent, so we would subtract 1 on both sides. So subtract 1, subtract 1. That gives me 0.02099 is r percent. So you've got the decimal here, and if you want to look at, that's a decimal. If you want to convert that into a percentage, you times that by 100, which is 2.099%, or you could say that is 2.1%. So your answer would be 2.1%. And the question says someone claims, is it in between 1% and 2%? No, the answer is no. It is 2%. So it's greater than 2%. So yeah, that's the answer. Right. So that's how you can work out the rate or the percentage of a compound interest when it is not given to us. We've got one final question for the day, which is we've got C and D are positive numbers. So we've got two numbers, C and D, and we know that C is inversely proportional. C is inversely proportional to D. So we've been given when C is 7, D is 28. We need to find the value of C. So we need to find the value of C. And it's a slightly different condition this time when C is equal to D. Yes?
Where's Miss Phillips?
She might be in her office. Okay, so the first thing that we do know, we know that C is inversely proportional. So straight away we can do C is equal to K over D. And we can use the data. C is 7, K is unknown, D is 28, which means I can find K is equal to 7 times 28. So 7 times 28 would give me 196, so K is equal to 196. So we now have C is equal to 196 over D. The condition is C should be equal to D. That means I could replace C is equal to 196 over C. And if I want to find C, I have to do cross multiplication onto the other side. So that would give
Where
me...
do you say Mr. Phillips was?
you check the office?
Where's the office?
Down the corridor, the last room.
On the right or left?
The one that is opposite to the toilet.
Oh.
So C squared would be 196. So if I want to find C, square root 196, that should be... what's square root 196? 14. So I could have written positive or negative 14, but remember we said C and D are positive numbers, so we're going to ignore the negative. So C is equal to D is equal to 14. So that's the 5 questions for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.